We're going to get started. We don't want to labor anyone's time. Again, the Black Archives, if this is your first time joining us, know that the game is it's a trivia game. And the first correct answer that pops up on the screen in the comments will get that particular point for that answer. I have staff online that is, they are monitoring the answers that come in. So, we want you to be able to just enjoy yourself, take a break from everything that has been going on with the COVID-19 as well as the protests. We certainly stand with George Floyd and his family and the people that are out there doing protesting the right way. As the Black Archives, we've seen this before. I was just, when I was doing the questions for this week, one of the questions touched close to me, which I won't get into because I don't want to give the answer away before we get to that particular question. But there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. Oscar JB said, let's get ready to rumble. So we're going to get started. We're going to get started with this week's version of Jeopardy Noir. The first answer that reached, I'm broadcasting on Facebook on my left, Instagram on my right. I don't know what the delay time is for Facebook. Maybe one of my staff members will let me know. Once we put the first question up and we reveal the first answer, we'll have an understanding of how delayed Facebook is in relations to Instagram. So we are ready. We are ready to get ready to rumble. Swamp May has a happy face on. If you're here on Facebook, definitely give us a screenshot, shout us out so that we will know that you are in here, so that we can say hello to you. And we're going to get started. Here we go with our first question. We're not going to labor the moment. We're going to move forward in this Jeopardy Noir. So our first question for today. Facebook, are you ready? Instagram, are you ready? Who said, I never run my train off the track and never lost a passenger? Who said, I never ran my train off the track and never lost a passenger? I never run my train off the track. What's up, Mayshawn? Good to have you here this week. Welcome. Welcome on Facebook. I have my answer on Instagram, Ebby Queen. I have my answer on Instagram. I have my answer on Facebook. Our answers are in Ebby Queen on Instagram and Hester Samuels, hello, on Facebook. And the answer to this question is Harriet Tubman. I never ran my train off the track and I've never lost a passenger. Harriet Tubman. All right, we're getting ready for our next question. Here we go. Whose refusal to give up her seat on a public bus sparked a boycott of Montgomery, Alabama buses from 1955 to 1956? Hands have to move very fast on this one. This should be very much known to all of us. I would not start the music because I know someone is going to post it. I have my answer, Oscar JB1 on Instagram. Do I have my answer on Facebook? Oscar JB1 on Instagram has the answer. Facebook, Mayshunt Gary has the answer, and that answer is Rosa Parks. That answer is Rosa Parks. Definitely. Let's continue to move on to our next question. Here we go. This amazing man is the self-proclaimed greatest of all time, originally named after his father, who was named after a 19th century abolitionist. A 19th century abolitionist. And yes, Rosa Parks was born in Tuskegee, Alabama. Welcome, Debbie Richards. Great to have you on, Debbie Richards. But the question is, this amazing man is self-proclaimed greatest of all time. All right, Amberster has our answer. Amberster One has our answer. Hester Samuels have our answer on Instagram. Hester Samuel has our name on Instagram. Amberster One on, Hester Samuel is on Facebook. Amberster One is on Instagram. And the correct answer is Muhammad Ali was named after Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay was an abolitionist whose father was named after. That answer is correct, Amberster One. And Hester Samuels got the information in. And I'm understanding we have a 15-second lag on Facebook, so we'll give you that time in order to get the answer. Welcome, Mrs. Brandon, the chair of the Black Archives. Great to have you in here. We're moving on to our next question. Are you ready? Who said the time is always right to do what is right? Who said the time is always right to do what is right? The time is always right to do what is right. Want to see if you can get your Google fingers running? All right, Oscar JB1 have our answer. Oscar JB1 is first on Instagram. Do we have an answer on Facebook? Who said the time is always right to do what is right? We're going to give that 15-second lag to Facebook. The time is always right to do what's right. Oscar JB1 has the answer on Instagram. Do we have our answer on Facebook? Going to give it a couple of minutes, couple of seconds. 5 seconds on Facebook. 4 seconds. The time is always right to do what is right. I'm sorry, Ms. Samuels, that's not the answer. Let's go ahead with the correct answer. That answer is Martin Luther King Jr. There's a lot of answers came in on Instagram. Oscar JB1 was the first to come in with the answer. We give recognition to Abby Queen 1 and Mrs. Ruckus for coming in as well, and I'm Mr. 1. But Oscar JB1 got the answer correct on Instagram. Facebook, we did not get our answer. We're going to move on to the next question that's for us. Here we go. Are you ready for the next question? What is the name of the organization founded by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? What is the name of the organization founded by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? What is the organization name founded by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Give it just a couple of moments. What is the name of the organization founded by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Okay, we do have an answer on Instagram. We have an answer on Instagram, Oscar JB1. And we do have Karen Gibson. Thank you so much. We do have those answers in, and it's the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Definitely. We're moving on to our next question. Where did we left off at? I kind of lost my place. Who is ranked as the second best-selling female artist of the 21st century? This answer that went to Hester Samuels on Facebook and Oscar JB1 on Instagram. Who is ranked as the second best-selling female artist of the 21st century? The 21st century. Let's see who we have. Any of our young R&B people in there. All right, Mayshant Gary on Instagram. Facebook. Facebook has the answer. Facebook has an answer in. I would just halt the music. Facebook has an answer in. Amberster 1. Amberster 1 has the answer on Instagram. Amberster 1 has the answer on Instagram. And that answer is Beyonce Knows. The answer is Beyonce Knows. Yes, indeed. We're moving on to our next question. That went to Amberster 1 and Mayshant Gary on Facebook. Who was known as the Nation of Islam's most effective minister and formed the Organization of Afro-American Unity? Who was known as the Nation of Islam's most effective minister and formed the Organization of Afro-American Unity? I decided not to have really super hard questions for you, I'm quite sure. All right, Oscar JB1 have our answer in on Instagram. Oscar JB1 have our answer on Instagram. Do we have an answer on Facebook? Hester Samuels, welcome. Hester Samuels have an answer on Instagram. Answers are in, and the answers to this is Malcolm X. Malcolm X. I could have put in there the one that was left the organization, but I want to say Malcolm X, known as Malcolm Little. Yes, welcome, welcome. So we have our answers in on this one. We're going to move on to our next question. Which Supreme Court case stated that segregation was legal and constitutional? What Supreme Court case stated that segregation was legal and constitutional? Legal and constitutional. What Supreme Court case stated that segregation was legal? We have our answer, Oscar JB1. We have our answer on Instagram. Oscar JB1 has the answer on Instagram. Facebook, we're still waiting. We're still waiting for an answer. We're going to give you about 5 seconds, Facebook, to see if we can have that answer. Oscar JB1 has the answer on Instagram. Do we have an answer on Facebook? Which Supreme Court case stated that segregation was legal? And all right, Hester Samuels. Hester Samuels got the answer in correctly. And of course, this is the Plessy v. Ferguson decision. The Plessy Ferguson decision, which really 1896 that stated that segregation was legal on the railroad carts. That's what when you read the language in the decision, it said that segregation was legal. It was legal on the railroad carts to have separate compartments for colored and white. But as you know, America at that point used that decision to blanket everything across the United States in white versus colored. This was the Plessy Ferguson decision. All right, here we go to our next question. Are you ready? Looks like we're having a great time today. Great answers are coming in. Our next question. Who said, "Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave"? Who stated that bringing the gifts that my ancestor gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave? I am the dream and the hope of the slave. Who said, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave? All right, we have our answer. Hester Samuels on Facebook have our answer. We're waiting for our answer on Instagram. Hester Samuels have our answer. Facebook is moving today. Instagram, do we have an answer? We're going to give you 5 seconds, Instagram. All right, Armbrister1 got the answer in, and of course, that person was Maya Angelou. Hester Samuels, thank you for that answer. Armbrister1, thank you so much for your answer, Maya Angelou. And after she said that, she said what? I rise, I rise, I rise. Maya Angelou. We're moving on. We're moving on. Great poem it is. Next question. Which author became the first African-American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature? Which author became the first African-American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature? Which African-American woman became the first African-American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature? Get those Google fingers running. Get them moving fast. Which African-American woman? No, not quite. We have an answer on Facebook. Damian Thomas, welcome to the party. Damian Thomas has answered correctly on Facebook. Do we have an answer on Instagram? Let's go to Damian Thomas on Facebook. Do we have an answer on Instagram? Instagram, we'll give you a 5-second lag. KPZ answered. KPZ answered for us, and that answer is Toni Morrison was the first to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature. Toni Morrison is that answer. I was introduced to Toni Morrison when I was working on my English degree. Amazing, amazing books, amazing stories, amazing literature it is. We're moving on to our next question. Are you ready? Here we go to the next question. Which famous athlete said, hating people because of their color is wrong, and it doesn't matter which color does the hating, it's just plain wrong? How appropriate it is today for this particular question. Which famous athlete said, hating people because of their color is wrong, and it doesn't matter which color does the hating, it's just plain wrong? Hating people. Which athlete said this? Hating people because of their color is wrong, and it doesn't matter which color does the hating, it's just plain wrong. Ellen Babb. Ellen Babb on Facebook. Thank you for the correct answer, Ellen Babb on Facebook. We're waiting on Instagram. Facebook is killing it over here. That lag is, yes, definitely. This is so appropriate to our current state of affairs. Thank you, May Shunt, for that statement. Yes, definitely. We're waiting. Instagram, Facebook is killing it to my left. They have the answer. I have several answers came in, but Ellen Babb came in with the first answer. And I'm sorry, that was Hester Selmers that said this is so appropriate to our current state of affairs. That is very true. I'm still waiting. I'm going to give Instagram 5 seconds to Google this and find out. But if we don't have it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the answer to this is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. Thank you again, Ellen Babb, for that answer. It was Ali who stated that hating people is wrong, and it doesn't matter which color is doing the hating. It is just wrong. Let's move on. Definitely, this is so appropriate to what we're dealing with today in these times. All right. Our next question. Who was the first African-American woman to be on the ballot as candidate for U.S. president? Come on, everybody. Everybody knows this. We've had this question before if you've been following us each and every week. Who was the first African-American woman to be on the ballot as a candidate for U.S. president? Someone can give me that answer right away. I'm going to play the music just for a couple of seconds because I know those fingers are chiming and chopping in and coming up with the answer for this question because everyone knows who this particular woman was. Thank you, Oscar JV1, for that answer. Thank you, Karen Gibson, for your answer. Karen Gibson has the correct answer on Facebook, and Oscar JV1 came in for the answer on Instagram. And yes, that answer is Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm is the answer. We're getting ready. We're getting ready to move on to the next question. Next question. Are you ready, Facebook? Are you ready, Instagram? Here's our next question of today. Which 14-year-old black boy was lynched for allegedly whistling at a white woman? Which 14-year-old black boy was lynched for allegedly whistling at a white woman? And I put the term allegedly in front of that because we found out later that the white woman recanted her story while she was on her deathbed, stating that that he did not do it. Thank you, Oscar JB1, for your answer. Oscar JB1 came in first with the answer. Ellen Babb on Facebook has the answer. Ellen Babb has the answer. For allegedly whistling at a white woman was Emmett Till. These are the days and times that we're in, so we never should forget. People like to say that racism is getting worse. No, I like what I think it was. They said that Will Smith said no, racism is just being filmed. So we've been dealing with this for such a long time, and like people like to say, oh, we've moved on. No, there's still some sentiment that wreaks havoc in our country today by people that choose to operate by hate, and that answer is Emmett Till. We're going to move on to our next question. which is appropriate. Who was an agricultural scientist? Okay, I'm sorry, Camila just came in with some breaking news. Minnesota Senator Koblacher tweeted that Chauvin's charges raised to second degree and the other 3 officers will be charged. Formal announcement later today. All right, thank you for that news break, that moment of news break. But moving on, who was the agricultural scientist and one of the first African Americans admitted into National Inventors Hall of Fame? Who was this? Thank you, oh no, Oscar B1. Oscar B1 has the answer. Damian Thompson has our answer on Facebook. That answer is George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver. Now, the next question I'm going to present to you is very appropriate to our day and time right now. I'm presenting this question. I'm just giving you just a little bit of segue into it because I was fortunate to listen to Rush Limbaugh on the Breakfast Club on yesterday, and it was just so strange when he failed to want a knowledge white privilege, George Washington Carver, Tuskegee. Thank you, Oscar JB1. Always Tuskegee. How appropriate. He failed to acknowledge that there is a bias and there is a white privilege here in the United States. And he also was kind of saying, hey, we're making the United States want to make it like it was, and we like America like it was. America has never been great for people of color. But this question here brought my mental back to people acting like this is just a new occurrence, that what happened to George Floyd, just all of a sudden popped out of thin air. But the next question is, name the racially motivated attack on a church that caused the death of 4 black girls. Name the racially motivated attack on a church that caused the death of 4 black girls. And also this brings me back to the shooting in South Carolina, where the white guy went into the church and shot the church up, members of the church up. These attacks have been happening on blacks on many. Thank you so much. We have our answer in from Ebby Queen. Thank you, Ebby Queen. And thank you, H. Lee Tony. Yes, that is the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. H. Lee Tony, thank you so much for your answer. Ebby Queen, thank you so much for coming in first with your answer. These things like this keeps us in memory of what's actually is happening. This isn't new. Racism in America isn't new. This has been going on and it hasn't ended. And as long as we have people in positions that have this notion that their color dictates that their supremacy, continue to have these problems, as long as we have people in power and this isn't even about just Trump. It's about everybody. It's about your senators. It's about your congressmen. It's about your representatives. It's about everyone that we have. It's about your mayors. It's even about your black politicians on a local level. As long as we don't stand up for our people, we're going to continue to have these attacks on our black and brown people. And that's the only thing that's going to really enact change in this country. Moving on. I'm sorry, I got to get off my soapbox. We're going to move on. Who said, I don't want a Black History Month? Black history is American history. Who said, I don't want a Black History Month? Black history is American history. I don't want Black History Month. Black history is American history. Who said that? I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. I'm trying to do the voice. I don't want Black History Month. Black history is American history. Such a great statement, such a true statement that was made in terms of my predecessor. Always would say, if you want to learn about American history, learn Black history, because Black history is the history of America. Thank you, Mayshunt Gary on Facebook with the answer. Mayshunt Gary came in with the answer on Facebook. Did the voice give it away, Mayshunt? Tell me, please. Did the voice give it away? Did the voice help you, or you already knew who this person was? I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. Did the voice tell me, Mayshawn? I don't know. Did the voice give it away? We have our answer on on Facebook. Do we have an answer on Instagram? We're going to give it about 5 seconds on Instagram. He said the voice gave it away. Thank you, so I must have did my job right. We're going to give 5 seconds, 4 seconds on Instagram. No, not James Earl Jones. But let's go on with the answer. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. Morgan Freeman. The answer is Morgan Freeman stated that I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. But the deep voice helped me. Thank you so much. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to our next question. Are you ready? Welcome, Miami Gardens Now. We haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Here we go. With Camila said she started to say Yoda. I didn't know I'd sound like Yoda. We're gonna move on. Here we go. That was my Morgan Freeman interpretation. Here we go. Impersonation. In what year were the first Africans brought to America as slaves? What year were the first Africans brought to America as slaves? What year? Somebody please tell me what year. We are waiting. What year? All right, Oscar JB1 and Damian Thompson. Oscar JB1 on Instagram. Damian Thomas, on Facebook. And that answer is 1690. That answer is 1690. Thank you so much for that. That answer is 1690. For some reason, I lost my music. Gotta bring back my. Okay, we're moving on to our next question. Our next question, while I work on getting my Jeopardy music back in place. I don't know what happened. It's just the app just shut down on me. Bringing it back. All right, we're here. Thank you. So let's move on. Our next question that we have for you today is, who is the wealthiest person in the world of African descent? Who? Google that real quick. Somebody Google that. Somebody has to have the Google. Who is the wealthiest person of African descent in the world? Who is the wealthiest person in the world of African descent? Who is the wealthiest person of African descent? My iPad is acting funny on me. Who is the wealthiest person of African descent? Somebody say call Alex Trebek. We are back. Sound like it. We are back. I don't know where the music is coming from. All right, we're back. Who is the wealthiest? Not Robert Johnson. Oh, Connie Kennard. Connie Kennard came back with a Connie Kennard. I didn't expect anyone to get this answer. Connie Kennard, welcome today. Connie Kennard came on with the answer on Facebook. I don't think we need to wait anymore for this particular answer. The answer is correct, Connie. Either your fingers are fast with Google, or you just know this person by the name of Aliko Dangote. Aliko Dangote. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. He is a Nigerian, I believe. He is worth over $50 billion. $50 billion. Aliko Dangote. Dangote is the wealthiest person of African descent in the world. Oh, Connie Kennard said that's her best friend. Yes, Connie, I would like to invite both of you out to dinner. You know, I can cook some great steaks. You know, if y'all both can come and hang out with me. Said Miami Gardens Now got the answer in on time on Instagram. I was just told by staff. So welcome, Miami Gardens Now. Was able to get the answer. Welcome, Connie. We're going to move on to our next question that we have. The famous black comedian who became known for his comedy on the Chicago subways. Tell me, who is this black comedian that became well known from his comedy that he used to do on the subways of Chicago? Somebody please tell me who this very famous comedian is. that became known from his comedy that he did on the Chicago subways? Famous black comedian who became known. Not quite Oscar JB1. We're still waiting for the answers to pour in. Karen Gibson on Facebook. Thank you so much for that answer. Karen Gibson on Facebook. Karen Gibson with the answer on Facebook. Do we have an answer on Instagram? We're going to give it a couple of more seconds on Instagram. But Karen Gibson has made that answer known on Facebook. We're going to see if anybody... Miami Gardens Now did it with a question mark. But the true answer, again, is... Bernie Mac, the late great Bernie Mac, such an amazing comedian who we got to be able to share talent. Used to do his comedy on Milk and Cookies. Yes, do his comic on Chicago subways, and he was recognized. And Bernie Mac, you know, ain't standing. Yeah. Bernie Mac, man, make me want to go back and watch some of my she picking at me. Oh man, the great Bernie Mac, man. I tell you, that's amazing. I love Bernie Mac. All right, so Bernie Mac was the answer. We're going to move on to our next question that we have before us today. He is the original host of the TV show Soul Train. Now, who's not going to get this answer correct? The original host of the TV show Soul Train. Come on now, everybody got that. I know everybody in here got BET. He imitates everybody. Yes, he does. Let's go. Who we got? Let's go. Who is the original host of Soul Train? I don't even have to turn the music on this one. All right. Damian Thomas, thank you. Oscar JB1, thank you. Damian Thomas on Facebook. Oscar JB1 on Instagram. And, of course, it is the illustrious Don Cornelius. I know everybody been watching that show. I think it was on BET. The story, his story, an amazing story on the start of Soul Train. We're moving on. Here we go. You shouldn't trust this host to announce the winner. It's simple as that. Peace, love, and soul. Yeah. But this question says, you shouldn't trust this host to announce the winner. You don't. This host right here, don't trust that this host is going to announce the winner. You shouldn't trust this host to announce the winner. Come on, y'all. Give me this one. This is a little satire here. Oscar JB1 has the answer. Connie Kennard has the answer on Facebook. And yes, it is Steve Harvey. You should not trust Steve Harvey to announce the winner for your show. So the answer is Steve Harvey. That goes to Connie Kennard as well as Oscar JB1. Thank you so much. So here we go. Next question. This entertainer bought 330 acres of land on an old Army base. This entertainer bought 330 acres of land on an old Army base. 330 acres of land on an old Army base. Name this person. This person. Let's turn the music on. I don't know. Do I need the music? Here we go. Make it think right. This entertainer bought 330 acres of land. Miami Gardens Now has our answer on Instagram. Miami Gardens Now. Karen Gibson. Karen Gibson has our answer on Facebook. And of course, this is Current Times. It is Tyler Perry. I remember Tyler Perry. I Can Do Bad All By Myself. That's where it started at the where we did it at the, was it the Gusman? I Could Do Bad All By Myself. Was one of his first stage plays that he brought down, would bring down to Miami, and you had to give away tickets. He had to give tickets away. I remember, you know, how difficult, you know, and the sell out, you know, I Can Do Bad All By Myself. He was able to take that play, use it at the Gusman. And the interesting thing about Tyler Perry, saw him at the Gusman. That was his first for move into doing plays. The next time he came to Miami, he was at the James L. Knight Center, which was a bigger venue. And the last time Tyler Perry came with one of his plays, he was at the American Airlines Arena. So that just told you that growth and how blessed he was, the favor that he received to do what he did. Amazing, amazing. We're moving on. Thank you, Tyler Perry, if you're listening. Please support the Black Archives. #ball. Cash App. Thank you. Moving on. Lionel Richie once led what R&B group? Lionel Richie. Name the R&B group that Lionel Richie once led. He was the leader of this group. Sometimes you don't remember this because you were not around. But some of us may have been around, you know, may have been around when Lionel Richie was in this group. Connie Kennard has our answer. Have our answer on Facebook, Connie Kennard. We're going to stop the music as we wait for Instagram to catch up. Connie Kennard has the answer on Facebook. Miami Gardens Now. Miami Gardens. No, sorry. It was Oscar JB1. Oscar JB1 came in with the answer, and that answer was what? The Commodores. The Commodores. Yes, the Commodores. Lionel Richie and the Commodores. We're moving on. We are moving on. Name this rising Black Panther leader killed by Chicago police in 1969. Name this rising Black Panther leader that was killed by Chicago police in 1969. And I'm not talking about Killmonger. You know, I'm talking about the real Black Panthers. Name this rising Black Panther leader killed by Chicago police in 1969. Killed by police in 1969. No, actually, that's not the answer. No, we don't have that answer either. Bobby Seals definitely is not the answer. He was here at the Lyric Theater maybe about 3 years ago. So if it was Bobby Seals, man, I would have ran out of this building. But please, all right. You're close. All right, we're going to get an answer to Mayshawn Gary and Miami Gardens Now. Mayshawn Gary and Miami Gardens Now. The actual answer is Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton, 1969 Chicago police. Fred Hampton. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new is under the sun. This has already been going on. Are we ready for our next question? Here we go. This famous comedian was offered $50 million and turned it down. This famous comedian was offered $50 million and turned it down. Who was this comedian that was offered $50 million and turned it down? Somebody please give me the answer to this question so we can move on to the next question. This famous comedian was offered $50 million and turned it down. Please name this comedian. 50 million, I can use 50 million right now. $50 million and turned it down. Karen Gibson, thank you for that answer. K. Peasy, you should not even be playing right now, K. Peasy. This is not the Black Card edition. This is history. Answer goes to Karen Gibson. Answer goes to K. Peasy. The answer for this comedian that turned down $50 million was Dave Chappelle. Chappelle Show. Let's start the show. Time check 2:45. Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. Dave Chappelle was that person. Let's move on to our next question. Are you ready? Name the first African-American actress to win an Oscar. Name the first African-American actress to win an Oscar. The first African-American actress, to win an Oscar. Name the first African-American actress to win an Oscar. Come on, y'all. We ain't even talk about what she had to do to win it. What movie she had to play in. No, we're talking about the Oscar. Okay. The answer correct, it goes to Hattie Daniels. I missed the word. Karen Gibson on Instagram, and Miami Gardens Now. Miami Gardens Now on Facebook. On Instagram, it would have been Again, it was Miami Gardens Now on Instagram and Karen Gibson on Facebook. That is the answer. This particular question, I had to fact check it because I was uncertain for a moment in this. I left a word out of this question. It was going with the wind, but we can't forget about Halle Berry, which was the answer that they presented, but that definitely wasn't true. It was Addie McDaniels. Moving on. Named is the R&B legend who was killed by his father over a dispute about money. Name this R&B legend. And that's what I left out. Best actress. I noticed in the word, I left that particular word out, Camila. Best actress. Connie Kennard. Connie Kennard. Thank you so much, Connie Kennard. And Miami Gardens Now have the answer. We're going to speed it up just a little bit. That answer is Marvin Gaye. The answer is Marvin Gaye. Connie Kennard and Miami Gardens Now. Name the original host of Def Comedy Jam in the early 90s. Name the original host of the show Def Comedy Jam that was premiered in the early 90s. Who was the original host? Somebody please give me the original host. The original host for Def Comedy Jam in the early 90s. The original host. We're waiting. This will be our last question for today as we begin to wrap things up. We have our answer on Instagram. Do we have our answer on Facebook? The original host of Def Comedy Jam. HBO's Def Comedy Jam. Who was the original host? We're going to give you 5 seconds on Facebook. We'll give you 5 seconds. Gonna give you 5 seconds. All right, our answer, we don't have the answer on Facebook. The answer is Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence. It was Martin Lawrence, you know. Martin Lawrence. It was his show. He was the man. Martin Lawrence was the original host. Martin Lawrence. Thank you. So with that being said, as my staff tally the scores, we will let you know what we're going to do on Friday, whether we're going to do a field trip. We might take a virtual trip since I have the studio area now that I might do some images on our screen. As far as our tour, I got to decide. Or we may come back for Jeopardy Noir again on Friday. We will let you know how things go with the weather, with the pending rain that's coming our way. Listen, I just want to thank everyone that has been supporting the Black Archives for this time during this COVID-19. We're certainly appreciative of you coming on for all of our shows, not just Jeopardy Noir, not just the tour. Our winner on Facebook has been announced. It's Mayshunt Gary. Mayshunt Gary, welcome. We will be, please message me at Balk, South Florida with your information so that we can send you one of these gift items. When we come back into the office, we'll mail these out for those that have won. But we're certainly thankful that you come on and support the Black Archives. It has been a major struggle here to continue to come up with these things to make it happen. Oscar JB1 is the winner on Instagram. Oscar JB1 is continuing. I think that might be a streak. That might be a streak. Thank you so much, Lynn. And Lewis was, oh, okay. Wow. This is from the Moving Image Archives. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you for supporting us. This has been truly an experience for us as we have this new norm. We appreciate everything. Oscar JB once said he's donating his gift to the second place winner, so appreciate it. We appreciate everyone that comes on and support what it is that we're doing here at the Black Archives. We're going to be planning a Zoom conference in a sense to talk about the sign of the times and things. I want to do this with our archivists and our assistant archivists and our community archivists. We're going to come on and invite people to our Zoom. We're going to be scheduling this very soon and talk about how history doesn't repeat itself. Talk about things in archives that is eerily similar to what we've seen in the past several days. I'm so, I'm humbled by Overtown, who turned down the opportunity to participate. The people of Old Town, the residents, it was something presented that they were going to protest in Overtown, and the residents of Overtown said, no, we're not going to do this in our community. We've seen destruction enough, and we do not want that element in our community. So, you know, we appreciate what people are doing when they do it the right way. The Black Archives, we want to have that discussion, so we'll be notifying you when we have this Zoom conference, when we're going to be talking about the state of Black Miami in a sense, historically. We're going to try to invite some people on just to have this general conversation that we can tie things together. Because some people will have this misconception that all of this just started. All of this stuff just started. When I was listening to Rush Limbaugh on the Breakfast Club, it just, to me, is like he's misguided in terms of what America is he looking at, you know, what America he's a part of. They asked the question, has he ever been racially profiled while he was driving his car? And the guy said that he had his car keyed before. He said he had his car keyed before. It was just amazing that the mindset of people that don't look like us, that don't know what we're experiencing. But again, Reverend Joseph Lowry said to me in Birmingham many, many years ago, he said, if you don't know where you come from, you'll never know when they're trying to take you back. So for us, people that work in the archives, that work in history, we've seen this. We've seen this happen before. You have to learn from the past in order to move forward. There's no moving forward without learning from your past. So thank you, Lewis. Yes, misguided is putting it very lightly in what I want to say. And we look forward to setting up that Zoom meeting. So please, if you guys don't have Zoom, get Zoom. I'm going to really work with staff to set this conversation up, and maybe an evening conversation so that we can have more people on. And we want to have certain images and things of that nature that goes back to, you know, when Trump said looting, we started shooting, immediately my mind went back to the Republican riots in the 60s in Miami. And I knew that statement from the 60s. I've seen it before in the archives when you talk about Republican riots. And it just came back like, wow, yes, I remember that statement, going back to the Republican riots in the 60s in Miami, as well as, you know, the Neville Johnsons and the Arthur McDuffie's, things that you don't know. Miami Gardens now don't know if you can get him, but Connolly would be a great guest for the Zoom meeting. All right, we'll look into that. Well, if you don't know Miami Gardens now, Connolly got all his research from the Black Archives. So definitely, you know, I assisted Connolly with pulling a lot of that information together for a world more concrete. So yeah, whatever he knows is from this venue right here, this facility. So definitely, when we talk about, I do know him. I know him personally. So just when we talk about, you know, what happened in Miami, it's here in the archives, and I do want to present a lot of this stuff from the archives that talks about the culture, that talks about the history, that talks about the things that we've seen happen and evolve in Miami. So I want to thank you. I'm running out of time. I know I don't want to get off on my soapbox, but we'll let you know. Miami Gardens now, I would love to have you on, you know, to meet you and have you on. So definitely, you know, we want to uplift people that are looked over, that have a lot of this knowledge. So I want it to be a candid meeting. I don't want it to be a lecture where there's somebody here and talking about, you know, everything that they've read. I want to be about people that have their hands really deep in this thing. And it isn't just something that we did to produce a book, and I'm not taking a shot at no one, but it's something that we live daily. When we're touching these things daily, we're experiencing these things daily. So everyone, thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to meeting all of you. I look forward to seeing all of you at our next juncture. Be blessed, and we look forward to seeing you again. Going to get my music on so I can do my normal exit that I normally do, so I can bring it on. Where's my music? And thank you so much. We've met. Thank you, Miami Gardens now. I look forward to meeting you again. Thank you so much. We got historical news footage available via, yes, the Moving Images Archives. We definitely, the Wolfson Florida Moving Images Library, there's definitely some things that we want to do together with you as we bring this forth. So Jocelyn, please make contact. So for that session, we could have some video footage of those protests and things of that nature that could be. And we would love to have somebody from your organization a part of this conversation too, that history does not, there's nothing new under the sun. History repeats itself. And that's what we want to kind of talk about. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing all of you very soon. Take care and enjoy.